Hey everyone, so today I'm standing in front of SBG Ireland, the famous gym, but today I'm not actually going to bring you into the famous SBG gym, but actually I will take you on a trip to a karate dojo where I'm going to do my first ever karate class. So let's go ahead. Background of how this came about. A few days ago, I was invited by these karate guys to their dojo to give an interview for their podcast. It was really enjoyable and the guys were awesome, and when they invited me to come to their karate class, I realized it's actually on my bucket list to do a karate class. So I said, why not? So let's do this. Last time they told me that this is the first challenge for any student coming to the dojo, that they have to pass through this scary dark alley to make sure that you can be part of the dojo. Obviously that was a joke, don't take it seriously. Some dojos would say the same and wouldn't joke, but it was a joke, so take it easy. And this is a cool graffiti that the guys decided to put on the dojo wall, and they said this guy looks like Steven Seagal. And I'm about to enter the dojo. And yet again, I'm donning the white belt. So, Roster.
Hello.
One of the head instructors in the dojo?
Yeah, one of them, yeah. So there's 4 of us all together. I'm the one who teaches the most in here.
Nice. Can you say a few words about the dojo? Where are we right now?
We're in Dublin, Ranelagh, in lovely Green Island. This has been here for 14 years now, full time. It was started by Scott Langley Sensei, who runs the dojo, and myself and 2 other instructors are working here full time, teaching kids, adult classes from beginners all the way right through to advanced grades.
And what can you expect from today's training?
Really what I focus on in training is the sort of ethos of what Scott Sensei teaches, which is karate as a way of developing body mechanics, explosivity, speed, strength, fluidity. We don't really focus that much on self-defense. We don't really focus much on combative things. It's more about how to get the most from your body through the art of karate. Right, free to go. And we close. Killed. Go for it. Cool. Okay guys, start off nice and easy. Everyone put your left leg forward in the front stance. Okay, just hands at your hips. Okay, all I want you to do is just twist your hips back, bend your back leg into this hand me position. And then push your hips forward, knee. So guys, make sure your heel staying down on the floor. Feel that heel pushing into the ground as you step. We want to try and take away the power that we can get with our calf. So we're taking our calf out of the equation. So just working to the extreme of those 2 positions, guys. Making sure that when you go forward, your glutes engaged, your quads engaged, your hips are in, straight body facing forward. When we go backwards, inner thigh muscle squeeze, so your back knee doesn't pop out to the side. It stays in, keeping the pressure off your ankle and squeezing your hips back without sticking your backside out. Watch the timing, guys, yeah? So what you don't want is you don't want this 1-2 happening. We want to try and have everything synchronized. Basic key on, so we want to maximize our efficiency. So make sure hand and foot coming out together, hand and foot finishing together as you come back as well. What beginners will do, what people that are new to training will do, they'll fishtail. So their backside will come out and then they'll push forward this way. Backside out, push forward this way. You see it in a few sotukis there, like everyone's sort of hips sitting back like that. You want to try and keep your hips underneath your body and keep that center line, yeah? So like that's why the knot of the belt is so important. You want it sitting like, you know, in line with your chin almost all the time, yeah? So like when we step forward, we're keeping that line as we move. Like my line isn't breaking as I step, but what I'm seeing is like people coming forward and they have this 1, 2. I'm exaggerating obviously, but it's kind of that 2 double motion, yeah? You want to have that drop, keep your tailbone in and push. So your core is always engaged, guys, yeah? Always working on your core, always making sure it's strong and engaged, yeah? When I spin and kick, like if I'm just lashing into it as hard as I can, I probably will over-rotate and go in this sort of sideways position, yeah? It's probably naturally what I'll do if I'm putting all my power into it, yeah? But before I can do that, I have to make sure my power is going in a straight line, yeah? What tends to happen if you start using this before you've developed that straight line power is you tend to like sort of, you just tend to start skiffing off this way, yeah? See a lot of people when they miss, their leg goes off in that sort of direction. You want to have that ability to push and drive going straight in so your power is going in a straight line that way, yeah? Go on, another few, go on, another few, go on. Yeah, go again, nice and fast, go. Bam, nice. So then if you can then create that momentum of everything going that way, then when you add that rotation in and your body, but you have this feeling of like this leg still pushing and my hips still moving this way as I rotate, then that extra rotation can add more power.
You mentioned what this is, and I liked it.
Yeah.
Could you break
So
it down again?
this is the Dojo Kun. It's called. Most dojos will have a version of it hanging up somewhere, especially traditional dojos. And basically, what it is, it's kind of like a set of principles, rules of how to try and behave and carry yourself throughout life. So each one, like. Going this way, it's seek perfection of character, be faithful and sincere, cultivate the spirit of perseverance, respect propriety, and refrain from impetuous and violent behaviour. That's a rough, sort of very basic translation, and really, like some dojos will take a second before or after class to say it. They'll say it in some dojos say it in English, some say it in Japanese, and it's just a sort of reminder of how you want to carry yourself inside and outside the dojo. Just a nice sort of set of rules to try and live your life by, which is cool. So, like, I would recommend hitting it there. Like, just start off like nice and light, and make sure that you don't like. Traditionally, you'll see guys in Okinawa kind of holding it like that, and that just destroys your joints. So you want to just like make sure as soon as you hit, you kind of recoil back like straight away. Oh, you're like so close. Again, go. Whip it in. Go on. You're a ball head away. Oh, go on. Go on. Oh, oh, you're so close. So close. Go on. Well, the first class was all about quite an important aspect of karate, which is back leg contraction and expansion. Kind of, if you see like karate guys, especially in the competitions when they compete, one of the best things that they do is they cover distance really quickly, quite a long range of distance, and I think that's something that's quite unique to karate. And the kind of training we've done today is kind of the traditional way of training that aspect of karate. So, and also using the back leg drive to generate power when we punch, things like that, connecting from the floor through your techniques. And in the second class, we worked on an aspect for one of the students there. First time he's going to have that Ishiro-geri, that back kick, in his grading. So started off basic, working on the sort of important points and developing the control of your body, how you move, how you spin, and making sure that your power is not going circular, make sure it's going straight, and then developing to be able to lose the form a little bit, have it sort of power still going straight but rotating a bit more to eventually coming round with a big spinning kick, which is always fun to practice and do,
One thing to mention for my own personal journey, kicks is one of my weak points, so I was like, oh, I like these.
That's good. I'm glad.
Your sensei, from the stories I heard from you from the first time we met, they're quite fascinating.
Yeah.
He seems like quite an open-minded sensei.
One thing, I think he's one of the best teachers. He's very good at, he doesn't have the sort of mystique of, I can do this, nobody else can, so watch me do it and go and try and work it out for yourself. Which I think is like, especially with the Japanese martial art, traditional Japanese martial art, they're not best known for getting the information across that well. It's a lot sort of flashy showing stuff, and then they're sort of laughing at everyone because they can't really do it. Whereas Scott Sensei really has a way of breaking down the body mechanics of what you're actually doing when you go up and down the dojo, so that it gives it a bit more meaning rather than just mindlessly training, which I think a lot of traditional dojos can sometimes get bogged down by, especially karate dojos. And second of all, he's always trying to innovate and progress and evolve, and it's something that he's sort of instilled in me, is that whenever we see something that contradicts what we do, we don't dismiss it, we kind of look at it and go, okay, well, how can we then incorporate that into our martial art and evolve, rather than sort of getting upset and dismissing it, which again can be a sort of downfall of traditional martial arts.
Again, I find fascinating about your dojo is you do like open sparring.
And morning training is dojo kumite, so it's still very much karate style techniques, but it's much more free flowing. You are allowed to use the more sort of nastier stuff. You're not restricted by form so much. And then on a Friday, me, the other senseis, and a few people who are sort of invited to it, we come and we put this sort of big boxing gloves on, mouse guards and shin guards, and we just, you know, put our techniques to the test and try and be a little bit more less karate and a bit more sort of free form as you would you'd seen, you know, MMA and stuff like that. You know, just be a little bit more free. And I think that's something that's important that a lot of people don't do enough, and you get exposed very quickly if you've never done that before.
So I am coming back home after my first ever karate official class, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. Obviously, you can't like everything, and there were certain parts which I wasn't as enthusiastic about, but all in all, I had a really good impression. The dojo atmosphere was amazing, the coach was great. I really enjoyed the kicking part, while at the same time, the striking or the punching itself, I wasn't very enthusiastic about its approach, though meanwhile the footwork that they implement, I definitely had seen some potential in it. And also too, that's something that Gunnar Nelson spoke to me about in the interview I did with him, what he mentioned and referred to as blitzing, the ability to, you know, cover distance fast. I definitely saw the potential during training that I could develop that, and it would be something that I would be interested to develop alongside the kicks. And also too, you have to recognize, you know, this is only one session, this is only one training that I did. So that's only my first impression, and you know, I can't be an all-knowing person to say what works and what doesn't work. But what matters is that I had a great time, and I'm very happy that I did this experience, and I'm happy you guys joined me in this travel. I will be looking forward to show you the next trainings as this martial art journey continues. And until then, I wish you to question the hell out of yourself, as always.